we can have really, really, really big audiences. We can shout the loudest and we can go viral so many times, but those things actually don't have the same payoff in your world, in your soul, as actually having a connected community. As a female online business owner with dreams of more income, more impact, and more freedom, you know there's more potential in your business waiting to be unlocked. But figuring out how to shape and transform your biz and get seen, loved, selling, and scaling can feel like, well, a mystery. So how do you cut through the noise, create offers that deeply resonate, sell and scale without you always being on, all while creating a life you love? That is exactly what this show is about. Welcome to Seen, Loved, Selling, Scale. I'm Corinda, your small biz marketing sidekick, digital offer strategist, and online biz bestie. With tens of thousands of digital offers sold, tens of thousands of people helped, and millions of dollars in revenue generated in my own business as a small business owner. And through this podcast, I am here to share it all. You'll gain clear, actionable insights, strategies, and shortcuts to master your online marketing, build scalable online offers, and create a business model that works for you as much as it works for your people, so you can grow your income, amplify your impact, and free up more of your time. Let's get started. Hello and a massive welcome to you. Welcome back to Seen, Loved, Selling, Scale. I am Corinda, and as always, I am so excited that you are here. And in today's episode, we are going to be diving into something which is just an absolute game changer for businesses that want to sell easier, that want to have a business that just sets their soul on fire, that is more sustainable, and that every day they show up and just feel seriously at home. And that is through the power of community. And in this episode, we will be talking about why creating this sense of community in your business matters so much, but also exactly how you can create community. And I don't mean community as in like start a Facebook group or, have a broadcast channel or something like that. While you absolutely can, speak to your community through those methods, what I'm actually talking about here is that sense of connection, that sense of belonging, that sense where somebody feels an emotion or an affinity towards your business and feels truly connected to you, where you're no longer a commodity. You are somebody that they actually want to have in their life. And that is what we will be covering, and how you can intentionally and authentically create that for your business success. But before we dive in, I want to say something to this community, and that is from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have been reminded today exactly how incredible the power of community is in business. Not that I've ever forgotten, but there are some moments that really, really, really make you realize, wow, getting seen, loved, selling, and scaling is such a beautiful, beautiful way to do business when we have that loved element. And as I sit here today, the reason I am thanking you is one, just for being here, which just lights my soul on fire, being able to be part of your journey, but two, for supporting this show and for supporting me. So as I sit here, this is the first episode that I am recording since the Seen, Loved, Selling, Scale show as a whole actually dropped. So the show dropped yesterday, very, very early in the AM. And as I record this, after the show has been live for just over 24 hours now, I am absolutely blown away by what this community support has helped this show to achieve. So when I created Seen, Loved, Selling, Scale, my version of success for this show was if I reached 10 people through it and I was able to inspire or empower or spark something in 9 of those people, this show was going to be an amazing success. That was truly, truly, truly how I went into this. But waking up this morning, thanks to the power of this community, this show has been able to do more than that already. And as I sit here, this show has been listened to in the last 24 hours in 26 countries, And in those 26 countries, it has hit 47 top Apple Podcast chart positions worldwide. And in those 47 top chart positions, 7 of those is a number 1 position, including being number 1 in Australian marketing podcasts. And it is also in the top 40 US marketing podcast charts. And I just literally cannot believe it. And this truly would not have happened without the power of community. And it is a true testament about what happens when you do the things that we are going to talk about today that actually help create human to human connection within your world. Because something I want to really point out here is that we can have really, really, really big audiences. We can shout the loudest and we can go viral so many times, but those things actually don't have the same payoff in your world, in your soul, as actually having a connected community. So in my example, I have a large audience. I want to be really transparent about that, right? Like if Corinda 4 years ago could now see that she's got like 74,000 people on her Instagram account and 10,000 people on her email list, she would lose her absolute mind, right? Like current Corinda still loses her mind. But I want to be really transparent as well that like when I'm looking at some of my peers, when I'm looking at other people in the industry, other people that have podcasts that are also on the charts, they have much, 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 much larger audiences than I do. And so it's not necessarily about that audience number. It is actually about the connection that you have with the people in that audience. Because sure, you could have 200,000 followers who kind of like you, but I would love 2,000, for lack of a better word, fans that are absolutely freaking in love with you and what you do and love the part that you play in their world. So let us dive in and start to talk about exactly how you can create this community. The first thing I want to ask you to reflect on yourself, though, is do you feel like you have community at the moment around your business? Because that is a really good starting point. And what community looks like, some indicators is, for example, if you put a question in your Instagram stories, do people actually want to write back to you? Are people recommending you via word of mouth to other people? Are you hearing people say, so-and-so sent me this? Are you getting comments on your Instagram? Are you getting conversations happening in your DMs? Do you have people who would advocate for you happily to go and do things in your business? These are the types of things that you can just initially start to gauge where your audience is at. And then you can also continue to use this as a gauge as you start to implement some of these things. Now, I want to let you know this isn't going to happen overnight. It's taken 4 years for me to build This Is Co community up to where it is now and the beautiful connections that I have. And these things do take time, but you're never going to get to where you want to be if you don't start somewhere. So I want you to start implementing these things consistently, chipping away at them consistently when we go through our seen, loved, selling, scale methodology. Are you truly focused on getting loved in your business? And are you taking those actions to get yourself loved and to show love as well? And then gauge again. So are you getting more responses when you ask questions about, research or whatever it might be in Instagram? Are you starting to get even more people right back to you and say, oh my gosh, Corinda, I knew you'd do this? Like, do people feel like they know you? Are you starting to get where it actually feels like there is that connection, or even people saying like, I will buy anything from you. I just love what you do or what you stand for, or, those types of things, and continue to use that as a gauge. But what is it that we can actually do in our businesses to create this community? So the very, very, very first thing that I want to talk about today is your brand, because who you are in your business is absolutely one of the main things that creates connection with people, that leads to this sense of community between yourself and them, where they feel like there's a place that they belong, that they fit in, and with the people around them as well in any of your spaces. So when we're talking about your brand, I'm most definitely talking about things like your voice, your vibe, your values, what you stand for, your points of difference. And I want you to ask yourself how often you are actually actively communicating that stuff. Because sure, it might exist in your business. You might know that you have beliefs on this, that you have a stance on this other thing, that your business stands for this. But how long has it actually been since you created a piece of content around that? In anywhere that I teach content, whether that be the Content Mastery Club or my content product, Complete Content 24/7, you will see that one of the main pillars is a 5-pillar strategy that I teach at This Is Code for Content Marketing. It is engage and entertain. That's to get us seen. Then we've got stories that connect, which is part of this. We've got about the business. We've got educate, activate, inspire, and show off and sell. And if you heard about the business in there, that is exactly where we should be talking about the things that actually also help us create community. Sure, we're going to be talking about them in stories that connect, hence the word connect as well. But we really need to actively be making sure that we are putting content out there that says who we are, what we believe in, what our points of difference are, showing behind the scenes, behind the curtains, showing a day in our life, showing who we are, telling our brand mission, our vision, our values. This pillar, if you are using this within your content marketing, will help you build community. It will also help you build trust. It will also help show your point of difference as well. There are so many people out there that are trying to, win over customers with just benefits or features or entertainment or education. And while those things are part of our content marketing for sure, when we actually start to show up with who we are, when we lead with values, when we lead with stories and education and engagement and benefits and features are laid on top of that, you truly have the recipe for success. With this podcast, I can definitely tell you that people were happy to share this with their friends because they know that I have knowledge in this area. But I also know that they wanted to share this because we have a connection, because I have showed them that I believe in things and that they believe in the same things, because we have interacted together, because together we feel like we are a part of something because I have communicated what we are a part of. I have communicated what This Is Co stands for, the mission, the vision, all of those things. And people go, wow, I am really actually part of something here. And this is what you want to be doing. So I really want you to look at your voice and vibe, sure, but I want you to look at what you stand for as a business and how long has it been since you've shared that. And you need to start sharing that way more consistently, likely, if you haven't been sharing it. And there's massive data that backs this up. There's something called the Edelman's research into this about belief-driven consumers or belief-driven buyers, and how 64% of people globally are actually now belief-driven buyers, which means that they will more likely buy from a brand that they understand the societal issues that this brand stands for and that they agree with those issues. So they will actually make a buying decision, not just based on those benefits, outcomes, transformations, features, but also who is selling those things as well, like I said before. And you can absolutely get amongst this and have this power in your business by showing people what you stand for. If you think that for too long exercise has been made a chore by the societal standards that get put upon us, and it should no longer ever be about weight loss, but about, having the best life possible and having those happy endorphins to take on your day and nothing about our body, get out there and say that many times over and over again and say why you believe in that and share stories about it and share how you've supported somebody else in their belief in that and infuse that absolutely everywhere, because that is going to start to create this sense of community where people feel connected and they see other people in your comments, the stories that you're sharing in your programs that have the same beliefs as them as well. And they start to feel part of something more than is just 5 exercise ideas to help you love exercise again, which is great, but they don't feel that connection to you through that. And then the other part of this in your brand is storytelling. Now, we won't dive into storytelling because the podcast before this is about storytelling, but go back if you haven't already and listen to that. Or if you have listened to it already, know that all of those things we spoke in there about how stories create connection also lead to this community. So you have this part covered. So the first part I want you to really drill down on is, who are you and how often are you showing people that online? And I want you to up the ante on that. The next thing I want you to start to do is really look at how often you are actually surprising and delighting your community. So often we get seen, we kind of get loved in who we are, like how we're showing up, and then we move to selling. And that is absolutely okay. But there is a big element in business where we can actually surprise and delight our people, where we can go even further to create this sense of, oh, wow, like Corinda actually really cares about me. Corinda has gone beyond, let's say, just a general transactional business nature, what I almost just expected from a business as a consumer. And she's gone a step further. And, apply that to your business. But this is where I talk about this being authentic, and it needs to be really authentic to you, because there's no one way that everybody should be surprising and delighting their consumers. There's no one way where you should go over and above a normal transaction in order for this to build community. But these are some examples that I can give you of types of businesses that are surprising and delighting customers that go really well. So, for example, in the Content Mastery Club, when I release any new digital product to the wider community, the Content Mastery Club gets that for free. That is something that I surprise and delight them with and say, thank you for being a community member. This product worth $37, $47, $67, $110 is yours for free for being here with me. And sure, do I lose some revenue in my business when I do this? Yes, I do. I have 500 beautiful, beautiful members in the Content Mastery Club. I'm sure if I just put the product on market, some of those people would have purchased from that. But I'm thinking bigger than just that immediate revenue. I'm thinking about in my business things like, one, just living true to my values and why I have this business, right? That runs so deep for me. So it's in complete alignment to give this away and have that sense of self for me be realized. But also on a more strategic level, this helps retention in my business. And this is one of those things that we spoke about in the prior podcast when we talked about storytelling and how a sense of connection actually increases lifetime value. It increases word of mouth. It increases all of those types of things. So when I'm surprising and delighting my beautiful community and going above and beyond, some of those people may likely want to stay with me for longer. They may also tell their friends about, oh my gosh, like this product is amazing and the community is great and Corinda's pretty cool too. She does all this stuff for us, like come and join the community. So yes, there is this sense of like self in this for me, but there is also this strategic element when I do this to surprise and delight. So look further than, oh my gosh, I would lose a little bit of revenue if I did this, and think about the long-term elements and then look at that. Same thing. I am absolutely sure members of the Content Mastery Club have come and supported this podcast above and beyond what they might have done before because of these things that I have done in the past. So obviously, there's now benefits for me in achieving my mission with this podcast, having had people go and share this with their friends or follow along or things like that. They're not just here for the great content. They also want to see me succeed and they're willing to go over and above in that. So these are the types of things that we want to look for. Some other things might be like you see businesses do a handwritten note. You might have got a parcel from an e-commerce business once and they threw in a free sample of something. It doesn't even need to be you giving something away for free that has a monetary value. You might actually just send something special to your community that goes over and above. Like one of the things that I teach in email marketing is that we should be serving to our email list and selling. And even though these people on our email list are normally at the middle of the funnel, we want to be providing that value. And sure, that goes through and there's a general level of value that people might expect around education and activation, but you can actually go over and above that. And let's say that you were going to be sharing with somebody a recipe through the email that week. You could go over and above and you could create this recipe into like a beautiful downloadable PDF and there's 4 recipes inside. And yes, this might take a little bit of time, but that really going over and above where someone goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is free. Thank you so much, Corinna. This is so thoughtful. Those are the types of things we want to be looking for. It can also just be consistently reminding your community about how valued they are. Like, yes, you might want to run a sale in your business, but there's no reason why that sale can't go just to your past customers, or that your past customers can't have a higher level of discount off things for you thanking them for being there. Literally saying to them, I value you so much. And as a valued member of this community, I want to show you extra gratitude with 40% off instead of 30% off. Use this special code. We really want to be looking for periods where we can surprise and delight, go above that just general transaction to make people feel like they are part of something, that they are seen, that they are appreciated. And that also leads us into the next element of creating community, is actually creating a sense of community. And I know this might sound a little bit silly, but it can actually be as simple as letting people know they are part of something. And also, if you did want, creating a special space to be part of something. Now, as I said, this needs to be authentic. So we're not trying to create a false sense of community. What we are trying to do is show people they are part of an authentic community. So, one example of this is actually naming your community. So I call this beautiful community the co-community. And I will often say things like, as part of this community who believe in XYZ, as part of this community of female business owners on a mission to do ABC. Using this type of dialogue and messaging is one of the first steps to really highlighting like, hey, you've sensed you were part of something through my brand and my beliefs. You have felt like you were part of something by me like surprising and delighting you. And now I'm really confirming that you are part of something and driving that home. It could be about saying things like, there are 5,000 people on this email list who believe in the power of journaling, and we're all in this together, even if you can't see the other people, right? So it could be that like, yes, your community is separated, as in there's no interaction between your individual email members, but you can certainly let them know like, hey, we have a community of 5,000 people all dedicated to journaling for better self-care. Like, come onto this email list. Or like, this email today is being received by 4,999 other people who also care about this as much as you do. Like, let's all go out and like journal, in spirit together, or however your authentic messaging would be around this. I'm absolutely not saying these should be scripts, because community needs to be authentic, but this is the type of stuff that you absolutely could be saying. And then apart from this signaling to people they are part of a community, you of course can set up community spaces. So, one of the easiest ways you could potentially do this is in like a broadcast type channel on Instagram. That's a little bit easier to manage because people can see they're in a community, but you're only broadcasting things out. There's actually no dialogue coming back. The next step could be creating something where there is actually dialogue coming back, like a school community or a Facebook group or, whatever community platform that you have available to you, where there is actually a sense of community where people can speak to each other. And this could be a free element, or it could be part of a paid program, but just somewhere where people can actually see that sense of community. But if that is out of scope for you right now, just start signaling that sense of community to people through saying, you are part of 50 women who believe in this, or, you might only have 10 people right now following you, and that's okay. You can start calling them the something community, or the this group, or the this warriors, or whatever words that you want to use. There's absolutely no reason that those 10 people already can't feel like they are part of something, and that you can't already be surprising and delighting them, and that you can't already be showing them your values. You need to start this, and you can start this from the day that you have 2 people in your world, you have a community. And then the next part of this, once you do start to get some momentum, and once, that gauge we spoke about before, where people do start to respond to you and start to interact with you, you can really start co-creation with your community members to deepen that community even further. And like, not only is this a community building strategy, but I do this all the time in my business, and it just feels so good to have other people interacting with you, helping you genuinely with decisions, getting opinions on things, because business can be a lonely space. And, as business owners, we need community too. And, one of the things that I think about is when I was picking the cover for this podcast, I literally had like 4 covers that I absolutely loved to choose from. And I was like, I'm just going to ask the community. And the community picked the cover. And this is one of those things where it might be scary at first when we're just starting to get our community and we think, oh, what if no one writes back? It's okay if no one writes back. Put it out there. Keep using it as your gauge. If they don't write back, that's okay. To keep fostering a sense of community through those other things. Pick the podcast cover yourself, move on, and then do it again in the future. There's absolutely no such thing as failure. There's only insights or outcomes. So when you put a question like this out there to start this co-creation on things, if no one writes back, it's an insight that you need to work on community more. If someone writes back, congratulations, it's an outcome. You've got what you wanted and we can keep building. So start this co-creation process, and it can definitely be as simple as just getting people's buy-ins on absolutely anything. A name, a date, a picture. Do you like this or that better? You can just start asking questions like, I want to do this in my business. Like, what would you like better? These are absolutely things that you can co-create. And it's a great sense of audience research as well. When I teach a program called Smash Your Holiday Season Sales and we talk about Black Friday discounts, I literally say to people, go out and ask your audience what type of thing they like the best in sales. Do they like free shipping, or do they like 20% off, or do they like bundles? Like, go and ask them. Now, not only is this consumer research and it can make your sales strategy even better, but you're going to also have people buying into that sale through that sense of community where they're like, oh my gosh, Corinda did the sale type I wanted. Isn't that cool? Like, I really feel a part of something here. I'm definitely going to go and look at that sale. So co-creation can be as simple as that. It can also be much deeper though. So for example, it could be much deeper collaboration where, for example, you might actually say, hey, I'm doing a live Q&A this week. I want to bring a community member on and we'll do some live discussions about XYZ. That could work for like a service provider or a digital offer or a knowledgepreneur. Or if you're an e-commerce business, it could be like, I want to collaborate with a member of this community. Like, who out there likes this, or who out there is a graphic designer, or who out there has an idea for this? Like, come and work with me. There's a brand that I absolutely love here in Australia who does activewear, and they will often just bring in members of their community to help them design like t-shirts or pick colors, and they call it like the business name X, the person's name collaboration. And these people aren't necessarily always like really famous people. Sometimes they are genuine community members that they've brought up to collaborate. And I really, really, really love that. And while I never put my hand up to collaborate, the fact that I feel a sense in this community that people like me could have a go at this, and that people like me have helped design something that I now want to be a part of to support that. These are the types of things that can create community. So these things aren't hard. And they have multiple levels of benefits for you when you are integrating these. So I hope that this podcast has inspired you to get out there in your business and start to gauge your sense of community and start to do things to build community. So whether it is just really focusing on your brand and your beliefs and your storytelling to start with, that is a beautiful place to start. You can then start to move more into that surprise and delight, that sense of like servitude, moving just beyond the transaction. And then you can start to actually signal community and create spaces for community to coexist in. And then you can start co-creating and collaborating as well on different things. And all of this is truly what can build you that community where sales come easier because of that connection, where people are picking you, where you've got that word of mouth, and where business feels so good to be in because you are a human too. And your life is going to be made better by connection as well. So I cannot wait to hear what you think of this podcast. Let me know as you go through and start to implement some of these elements to build community and how you go. And from the very, very bottom of my heart, thank you for being part of this community as well, and for all of your support always. Now, before I forget, I want to celebrate with you the launch of my show by doing an exciting giveaway. There's going to be 3 winners, and the prize, this is the best part, it is actually of your choice. You can choose between a free annual membership in the Content Mastery Club worth $555 if you're wanting to get seen, loved, and selling in any type of business through content marketing. Or you could put that $555 towards the Scalable Business School, my newest offer, which is the place if you want to take your knowledge and transform this into an offer suite that seriously creates you a business with more income, more impact, and more freedom, and how to get that seen, loved, selling, and scaling with more ease, all in the one place. The choice is yours between the 2 offers for what is right for you. So to enter, I've made this super easy for you. All you need to do is follow this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and leave a review on Apple Podcast, what you're thinking about the show so far. And before you hit submit, take a screenshot of that review and send it to me via DM on Instagram. So either DM that to This Is Co or This Is Corinda, either account doesn't matter. And that is you entering. And then for a bonus entry is you can screenshot any one of these first 3 episodes, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me. So again, I'm at This Is Co or This Is Corinda, and you can tag either account for that bonus entry. And if you don't have an Apple device, that is absolutely okay. Send me a DM on Instagram about what you love about the show. The giveaway ends on Tuesday, the 3rd of December, 2024, and I'll be announcing the winner on my Instagram stories on both accounts on Wednesday, 4th of December, 2024. And I'll be sure to send you a personal DM to let you know if you are one of the lucky winners and have you pick your prize. I've put all of these details in the show notes for you to make it even easier, and I can't wait to catch you in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Seen, Love, Selling, Scale podcast. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired, fired up, and empowered to make serious moves that align with your goals and version of success, both in life and business. If you loved what you heard, head over to www.thisisco.com.au to find all the links and resources mentioned in today's episode. And if you aren't already following the show, make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss a future episode when it drops. I'll see you again next week, same time, same place, same goal to get you seen, loved, selling, and scaling. See you then.